So I've written 2 novels. 2 ones called The Stones in the Field. It's about a Mexican kidnapped for ransom. I got to meet a lot of different people, a lot of them from Mexico, and they had that happen to their families, you know. When you have a big kidnapping or something, they negotiate. It's like business. We had a couple come in one time to the bar with a monkey. He was wearing a diaper, and they came to the bar, and we served them, and they sat their monkey down, and that sounds kind of weird, but the actual monkey sat at the bar. When I was 19, I was on The Dating Game.
Whoa!
So I did the show, and I actually won the date.
This isn't your standard home service podcast. Hosted by Bobby Danielson, PlumbFunny's the only show with world-famous guests you won't recognize, but you'll wish you worked with. Welcome to the messiest and funniest job site in podcasting.
So, Mike, we're here at the beautiful location, Let It Bree, Fullerton, California. Sunny day. I don't see a cloud in sight. Mike, tell us about who you are. Brag about yourself.
Okay. All right. I started out, interesting the way I started out in the restaurant food service business is I got my driver's license 2 weeks after I crashed my mom's car. Wasn't bad. No one got hurt. I did about $300 worth of damage to a front yard, which back in the day, I mean, it was basically nothing. But I had to get a job, so I went down and got a job. That's the next day. So I got involved in the food service industry real early, 16. So that kind of carried me through going to school, going to college, studying business because I wanted to open up my own restaurant one day. I worked in food service, packaging, wholesale, retail, restaurants, probably about 10 years before I opened my first restaurant. So I'm a restaurateur. That was my main business for about 22 years. At the same time, music was a big part of my life. So I'm a restaurateur, guitarist, pianist. I say I'm a vocalist. I don't know. I sing a couple songs for our band, but that was about all they let me do.
Yeah.
So I sing, play music, and that was always been a big part of my life. For about 8 years, I've been teaching local colleges. So I'm a professor, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you're a professor.
I don't know how that's quantified, but that's what they call me. So anyway, I've done teaching at the university level. And in the meantime, I'd always had a passion for writing. So I've written 2 published novels.
And what are they called?
And one's called Wade in the Water. It's about the Johnstown flood.
Okay.
And then the other one's called The Stones in the Field. It's about a Mexican kidnapped for ransom.
Okay. Are those both derived from personal experience?
Well, the flood one was something that I was really interested in when I was a kid. I saw a PBS special on it, and it was amazing how devastating it was. And it was like, at the time, the second or third biggest natural disaster in American history or something.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, so and in the school, I never heard of it. So I saw this special on it, and I was intrigued. So forever, I was telling my wife, even before I had the idea, but when I was married and my wife was listening to me tell her I wanted to write a story, finally she said, well, just write it,
Yeah.
You're talking about it, just do it.
Yeah.
So I did. And fortunately, it was published, and it's still out there on Amazon. You can search it up.
Okay.
And then for the Stones in the Field is the Mexican kidnap story. Through the restaurant, I got to meet a lot of different people, a lot of them from Mexico, and they had that happen to their families, So if people ask me, why haven't you written anything since? And I said, well, those things gripped me, when I was listening to them.
Yeah.
So that kind of pushed me to do it. And since then, I guess nothing's gripped me yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. But they're both interesting stories, and I had a good time writing them, and I was fortunate to have them published. So I did that. Travel's a big thing for me, languages, being in the restaurant industry for so many years. I speak Spanish, French, a little bit, but when we travel, I try to engage with that. So traveling's been a big part of my life, and music, my family. Yeah, I think I've explored a lot of different things, and I've had the opportunities and fortunate enough to be successful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, back to the stories, the Mexican kidnapping.
Right.
Give a little background on what that is, because I'm not too familiar.
So either cartels or gangs or stuff will go into the towns, and they'll take a family member, and then they'll basically hold them for ransom.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll they'll send them messages via the newspaper or the mail or whatever, demanding the money, and it's pretty sad. I mean, a lot of times it's like stealing a bike. You want your bike back? Pay me. If not, we'll just pitch it in the ditch. Yeah. Which is really unfortunate. So sometimes they're returned, sometimes they're not. One portion of it is a big business where people will take, dignitaries, children. You probably heard maybe stories of someone getting kidnapped and the father or the mother's in politics or whatever else it is, business or something.
Yeah.
So that happens. I got a chance to talk to a guy. His name's Ion Grillo. He lives in Mexico City, and he's been into where the cartels do that. I mean, they sometimes journalists they'll let you in to kind of see, they'll blindfold you. They'll you don't know where you're at, but then they talk to you and then they release you. And so he's got stories.
Such a crazy process in and of itself.
So yeah, he's pretty well known, and he spent some time talking with me about it. So from personal experiences that I got to talk to people that happened to them, plus his insight gave me that kind of, and at the time, Narcos, the show Narcos, right? It just came out. I wasn't even watching it, and people would say, "Have you seen Narcos? It's, what you're doing is kind of like that." I said, "I haven't seen it." Since then, I like that. I mean, I don't like what they did. But I like the story of it.
Yeah. Do you find yourself a little bit like kind of like, wow, that's kind of me? Like you see yourself in like bits and pieces of it?
When I watched that show and things that had happened and things that I was told and what I wrote about, it was a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of reinforced that in me that I got it right.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but to bring that attention to that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And in fact, in business, a lot of people I know that do business in certain parts of Mexico, this was a while ago, but probably still, will have guards and things that go down there with them, just for that reason. You got a big CEO of a company going down to do something, and I don't know, maybe they find out their family's in a hotel somewhere and they snatch the kids.
Yeah. Ugh.
So yeah, it's brutal. But then on the other side, when you have a big kidnapping or something, they negotiate. It's like a negotiation.
Yeah.
It's like business.
Yeah.
Give us 10 million. Well, we can't do that. How about 5?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, and then the holidays come up, and then they say, well, we can't talk until January because my family in the narco business are going on vacation. I mean, it's interesting.
What the heck? We don't do business on vacation.
Right. I mean, it's crazy. My kid's birthday party today. We can't do the exchange today. It's like a business. Which is I found that
very ruthless business.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So, anyway.
I have a story I'd like to share.
Go ahead.
Family friend of a friend, very similar. They were in Mexico somewhere. They were about to leave. They were having dinner. It was a mother, father, a son, and a daughter. They get down to the restaurant. They sit down, and for whatever reason, the son had to go to the bathroom. So did the mother. So the father, mother, and son get up and go to the restroom. Come back. Daughter's missing. She's missing for about a week. Long story short, they search for her, don't find her, nothing. So they start to head back to the United States. As they're passing through the border checkpoint, mom's crying, looking out the window, sees her daughter a couple lanes over. It looked like she was sleeping, at least like a figure. She could tell it was her daughter. So she gets out, she starts screaming to try to get the police to come. There was 2 guys in the car. Guys get out of the car, run. Get to the daughter, they open the car door. She kind of falls over. She ultimately got gutted out, took all her insides out, and they packed her with heroin.
Oh.
And they were trying to smuggle her, making it look like she was sleeping.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I have the chills because, like, I couldn't even imagine what that would be like.
I mean, it's just the disregard for humanity to make some money. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, it's just that pops into my head a lot. And so for you to like kind of dive into that world was, I'm sure, crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And just on that same kind of an idea, it's like my thought is, you're kidnapping. What do you want? You want money, right? Why don't you just steal the money? I mean, why do you have to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you want to buy? A car, a TV, whatever? I don't know. Just go steal a TV or something, or don't steal a TV, or work. I don't know. Pay for it. I don't know.
Yeah, the greed of money greed for money is it's really sad.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Brutal.
Now, touching back on music.
Okay. Yeah.
Earlier years, I guess, in your life, you were a part of No Doubt before they were No Doubt.
Oh no, not exactly.
Okay.
Kind of. Well, could have been, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you were still at the beginning roots.
This was 90, probably early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and they were just kind of starting out as a band. And I worked at a restaurant where the drummer worked. He was a server as well. Back then, if you're an artist or a musician, you work in a restaurant.
Sure, yeah.
So we worked together, and Adrian was his name, or is his name, and we got along. We were good friends, and so they would come in. I don't remember everyone else in the group at that time. I don't even know if it's the same.
Yeah,
maybe it is.
I'm sure it's changed.
But Gwen was there. She would come in from time to time. I got to know her, not very well. I mean, maybe if I saw her, say, "Hey, remember me from?" Oh yeah, but nothing.
Yeah.
But Adrian and I stayed friends, and at the time they were trying to get their thing together, and maybe I can't remember if they were doing their album yet or not. Maybe they were just playing. I know they were playing around town, and they wanted a keyboard player. So he asked me if I wanted to come, sit in and play with him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know, I'm 18, 19, whatever it was. You know, I'd heard their music and, you know, everybody, oh, we're going to make it. You know, of course, everybody thinks they're going to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wasn't too into the music. I was doing my own thing.
Mhm.
You know, I said, oh, maybe I'll come down.
Yeah.
I never
And
revisited it.
At the time, was it still the kind of ska?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was the classic rock,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, hey, it's cool. I like every kind of music.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't something I was really into, you
Mhm.
know. So I don't know. Looking, but was it a mistake? An opportunity missed? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you liking it to? Hey, you know, I got an idea for this thing. It fits in your pocket. It looks like a TV, but you can make a phone call on it. I mean, you want to invest in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
kinda weird,
Yeah. It's
you know, and then later you go, God,
yeah.
whoops. But you know,
There's so many things that could happen that just
and who,
I believe. you know?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would they have liked my style? I don't know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And then
Would it
that
have
could
fit? Would it? I
Yeah.
don't know. It would have been
Yeah.
interesting, but
Still, you still kind of put yourself out there, and you know.
sure. I mean, I think maybe now I'd be more inclined to check something out
Yeah.
first before I
Yeah.
you know, poo it. You
Yeah.
know?
No.
But
Oh
who
man.
knows what could have been? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Now, what is your favorite kind of music to play? So, what between
You know,
piano and guitar, or kind of
I think it depends on a mood. Piano, you can sit behind or stand behind it. And when I play, I'm usually standing to the keyboard and stuff.
Uh-huh.
If I'm at a piano, you can really hide behind a piano, right?
Yeah.
If you want. Guitar, you're more up front. So I think it depends on how I'm feeling as how to entertain the crowd, I guess.
Yeah.
I played piano bar. I played clubs, events, wedding, you know.
Mhm.
So for showmanship, guitar, I think I'd
Yeah.
move toward.
Would you ever
To
power
be
slide?
in the back tower? No.
Okay.
Or destroy my guitar.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, but then I'd have to buy a new guitar.
Yeah, right.
If you can afford it, you can do that.
I think that's one of every man's dreams is to
Yeah, just
smash
smash the
guitar
guitar.
on stage. That would be so cool.
Like a Jim Belushi Animal House on the stairs, smashing that guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, like I said, guitar for showmanship, piano
Mhm.
if I just want to be, you know,
Yeah.
be behind.
Now let's see. Let's run into what you're doing now. You started a construction company?
Yeah, so I had my restaurant for about 22 years.
Mhm.
And then at the time, you know, I was kind of at a crossroads. Should I dig in? Am I that hungry to keep going?
Mhm.
I mean, when we started, we were still hanging tickets on the thing, you know, that swings around like in a diner,
Yes.
you know, and punching the chink, chink, chink cash register. And over 20 years, you know, obviously you got computer and this and that.
Yeah.
And I was making gin and tonics and rum and cokes, right? But then now you want cucumber,
Yeah.
something else,
Yeah.
and
Gummy
you know,
worms.
I don't
and-
know, yeah, and,
Yeah.
and popcorn flavored vodka, and you know, I don't know. And if someone orders a drink, I go, "What is that?" You know, I
Yeah.
don't know. So I did bring people in that knew that stuff, so
Mhm.
so I could accommodate the shift kind of a thing in the industry. But I was at a point where, you know, where do I keep going that direction and focus in and do some, you know, maybe remodeling, do some changes on the menu, or do I want to cash out?
Yeah.
And at the time, you know, my wife had her own career. My kids were getting into college. They didn't want to take over the restaurant. It wasn't their thing.
Yeah.
So I decided to phase out of it.
Mhm.
So as I was phasing out of it, I was teaching. But a few years later, my brother came to me because when I owned the restaurant, and even at my house, I did a lot of the construction on it.
Yeah.
Either it was a owner builder, you know, as a general at my house.
So you've always been handy.
I've always, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured someone else can fix it. You know, why?
Exactly.
why can't I do it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But so I decided, okay, my brother came to me and said, hey, you know, you've done this, and he's pretty handy too. You know, let's put together a little business, do handyman work.
Mhm.
So okay, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So we did that. We did a few little jobs here and there, and then we got an opportunity to work with a property management company
Mhm.
that manages hundreds of properties around Orange County.
Yeah.
And it was basic. You know, you rent a place out, and the tenant moves. Then you got to make it ready for the next tenant. So they call it like a make ready thing.
Okay.
So so I said, oh yeah, we can do that. I can paint. You know, I know how to roll.
Yeah.
I can paint. I can do this and that. I put a faucet in,
Mhm.
change out the dishwasher, whatever it is. And so we started doing that. But then we started getting more jobs. And you know, California, maybe other states too. If you do more than like $500 worth of work, you have to have a permit or a license,
Yeah.
contractor license. So we figured, well, I guess we can either stop or just do $499 jobs,
Yeah.
or get a license. You know.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, well, I'll try to get my license.
Mhm.
So I studied the thing. I took a course. I had a friend that I'd worked with in the past that you have to have someone sign it off for you,
Yeah.
you know. And so I submitted all the stuff. I got a date scheduled to take the test.
Mhm.
I don't think, and even if you're in the business too, I don't know if you could pass those tests without taking some sort of class, because some of the things they ask.
There's a lot of code and
it's some obscurity thing. That you
Yeah.
never, I don't know. What's the millimeter distance? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But they prep you for it, and I studied for it, took the test, got the license. So then that was about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, we've just been building it up.
Yeah.
And we swung the hammer a lot the first year and a half. Now I still do it, but we sub a lot of stuff out. We have some crews that work with us exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
So
was it a little overwhelming taking that step forward?
Yeah, it would just, I think, well, I mean, I likened it back to when I started the restaurant. I was a little bit green, before I got into the business. I remember asking people in the business, or talking to them before I opened the restaurant, I want to open up a restaurant. And then their immediate response was, why do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Because they knew, what it was.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people have said that about the restaurant industry.
Because it's not food on your table. That's almost ancillary. I mean,
Yeah.
Of course it has to be edible. Right?
Yeah.
And you can't make people sick. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been to places and people that go somewhere. How's the food? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I never really, but people are cool. It's whatever it is. It's fun. It's atmosphere, everything else. Service, recognizable, or whatever. So, it was a lot more than that. But being green, entering in the restaurant business I think it was helpful for me because it forces you to do it.
Yeah.
You jump in there and now you're in the pool. You got to have to, either swim to the side or drown. So that's kind of the same thing here. I didn't know a lot of the things that we would encounter with customers, with vendors, with the people, the suppliers and everything else.
Yeah.
But I figured just like before, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to turn the faucet on, right? Before the water comes out.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know
Please
if we
work,
should do
please
it.
work.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we figure it out. And what I did find was, a lot of other people don't know either,
Yeah.
Like I'll run into something going on at a property, and I'll call one of our plumbers that we work with. I said, well, how are we going to do this? I figured he'd come in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So scratching his head? Yeah.
Well,
Have you Googled it?
Right, yeah, it's different now. You can. YouTube it, Google it. Yeah.
So would you say that a lot of the things that you learned in the restaurant industry carried right over to kind of?
Well, we tried employees with our construction company for about a year, and then it's cost prohibitive in California for us.
Yeah.
And payroll tax and workers' comp and all these other things you got to go through.
Yeah.
And so we kind of phased that out. But dealing with employees and people, absolutely. I mean, the restaurant business, you're looking at every day you've got guests coming in. The employees, it's just all these different personalities you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Same with teaching. You got all these students with different personalities. So you have to kind of figure out how to deal with all that. And then the construction, our contracting business is similar. Dealing with people. So. Yeah, and music. I think one thing that's kind of interesting that I thought about was in music when I was starting out, when I wanted to learn a song, we had to listen to it and figure it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't YouTube or
no.
You couldn't look. You go to the music store and you try to find it in it's not there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This popular classic rock song that just came out. No one. You have to figure it out on your own.
Let alone the lyrics. Like
you're
like I gotta.
Yeah, lyrics, the chord progressions, the solos. You're writing out. So something that I had to figure out on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that idea and I did it. So that sense of accomplishment. Well, I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to listen real hard. I'm going to figure it out, and then I got it.
Yeah.
Same in anything that we do with construction or figuring something out. You look at it. I don't know how to do it. Well, now you have more resources.
Yeah.
But you still got to kind of finagle it yourself.
Yeah.
So that determination, I think, carried with me with other businesses into this new one.
Mm-hmm.
So to being able to say to myself, hey, someone else can do this. Someone figured it out. They got it on there.
Exactly.
It's got to be a way to take it off.
Yeah.
Right?
No, exactly. Like kind of back engineering.
And if not, you get a big BFH, or you get a Sawzall and you just saw it off.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was trying to get some fitting off the thing. I don't know how I'm going to do it. The guy that I was working with just goes, and there you go.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. I guess that works.
So. Well, what was your restaurant that you had?
So it still exists. It's called Hidalgo's.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
correct.
Hidalgo's is he was a Mexican revolutionary. So,
yes. Yeah, so Hidalgo and all of that area over there.
Villa del Sol. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, I started that in 97.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys who worked for me, his name's Ryan, he worked for me for about 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went off and did his own thing. And then later he bought the Cellar restaurant. That's the French dining in the basement area of
Yes.
the villa. And when I was trying to figure out how to exit the business, he came to me and we talked. And so he owns it now.
Yeah.
And, I think he's doing good.
Yeah.
With weddings and private parties and different things that I had started, he's continued to do. So
I had a few friends of mine that worked for Hildaga for a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, Chris Param,
Chris, I remember Chris.
David
Sure.
Aguirre.
Dave, yeah, sure.
David's a mechanical
Architect
engineer.
or
He helped build SoFi.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
He
that was one
telling
of
me.
his first projects.
I think after maybe a year or so after he left, he'd come by and I'd see him, and he mentioned that he was working on that.
Yeah, shout out to them because I have not talked to them in
Is
a
that why the
long.
left part of that building is kind of sinking a little bit?
Yep.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the craziest story it would tell? And did you ever have a moment and you thought, "Yep, this is it. I'm out."
Let's see. The kitchen. I will tell you a story about the kitchen, and I don't know if it was something that I said that I'm out or I'm in, because one night, and I was in the kitchen too, and there were two other guys behind on the line, and out of the corner of our eye, we saw a cassette tape fly off of the ice machine across the back of the kitchen. Now we would put we have used cassette tapes back then.
Yeah.
So we had a box that we set on top of the ice machine. And I don't know how, I mean, you can rationalize it somewhere or other. Maybe it slid off and fell somewhere, but it looked like it was floating across the room.
Yeah.
And we saw it.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other and what was that,
Yeah.
And so we kind of froze for a minute.
Whoa.
And it was kind of spooky. So this story kind of built, right? The cassette tape flying in the kitchen. And at the time, now I think, I'm not sure if they do this anymore, but they would do downtown Fullerton ghost tours, right?
Yeah.
So they were starting to do that at the time, and someone that was doing it
Heard about it.
heard about the story, right? So the Villa del Sol has some other stories too. There's a restaurant called Heroes that was there. They're now in a different location in Fullerton, doing well.
Yeah.
But they were in that building too at the time, and someone there said they saw some sort of image or phantom or something in the basement of there.
Yeah.
So these stories got out. So they revitalized these ghost tours, and they made the Villa one of its stops. So during it would have been this time of the year.
Yeah.
Right? If I was still there, we would have this ghost tour come through our thing, and I'd tell them about the story and how spooky it was, and we'd walk down to the basement of the cellar, and they'd tell the stories, and then I think the police station has some stories, and the library, and some other places. So we again revitalized the ghost tour downtown Fullerton.
Man, so do you subscribe to the idea of paranormal, ghost, spirits?
No, because I think if there were the people that were wronged by someone, and would come back and haunt that person.
You know what? That's true. They'll come back for revenge.
I mean, if someone murdered someone, wouldn't that person come back and haunt them? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But did that moment kind of
It made me question
a
a
lot?
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Do you ever think about it every now and then? Just be like,
maybe a little bit.
Okay.
And it did. Actually, there was a guy from a radio station that did it. They called me one time to talk about it.
Really?
So, it was kind of interesting.
Did he call you out of the blue, or is it just like he?
Yeah, he sent me a message. I don't know how he found it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whoa.
So I got to talk about that.
I feel like there is a mysterious thing that's built up around downtown Fullerton, especially Villa del Sol, being haunted. Now that I think back, David dated my sister for a while, and he was staying at our house, and all the guys were sleeping downstairs in a living room, and they all swore that they saw something in our house. And,
Maybe.
I don't know what but for how many people were there when you saw like 3?
Yeah, 3 of us.
Yeah. So when there's a combined group, it's very hard to.
There was one of those ghost hunters or thing. They did a night. They spent the night there at the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't think they found anything. Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm always a little skeptical about those.
I do remember once when I was looking through our video footage one morning. I don't know why. Sometimes I'd review it, And as I'm fast forwarding through the video, and I see in the dining room this little white kind of fluttering thing in the corner, and then pew, shoots across the room.
Really?
Like, so.
Man, were you tired? Were you overworked? Maybe
No, but what happened was I got to rewind that. So I rewound the thing and played it slow motion. It was a spider crawling across the thing.
But still.
So maybe
always room for a little.
Could have been that. I don't know.
Spirit controlling the spider.
Perhaps. Yeah. So anyway.
Do you have any funny stories? You don't have to mention names. As the time you were professing, you have any stories about crazy students? Somebody their homework or turned a paper in you and just kind of like,
well, I don't know if it's crazy, but it's something that I didn't expect to happen. Well, this is on an final exam. I go through this whole thing about you do your own work. You can't used papers from before. You just have to. This is the rules.
Yeah.
And right when I have at the front this computer screen that shows everyone's computer. I don't know if the kids don't know that or not.
Really? So you could see what they're doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So right when I say, okay, so begin the exam. It's like a written exam where you have to read some business scenario, and then you have to solve the problem or something, and you have to write your own idea of how to do it. So the minute I say, okay, start the exam, I look on the screen, and this one guy immediately, chat GPT comes up, and he tell you how did you do, and then this blur, and then he starts copying it.
No.
I say again, you guys, you have to do your own work.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you didn't know I knew
Close
or
the
not.
screen
So
out.
Still doing, and then I shut his computer off. So.
And
he didn't say anything.
Yeah, he didn't?
Yeah.
Did you get up and just walk out?
Well, I turned it back on a little bit later, and then he didn't do it. I was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the university, I don't know, nothing that crazy, but I will tell you, restaurant crazy.
Yeah, please.
Was this is crazy or wild or just I was taken aback by it. We had a couple come in one time to the bar with a monkey.
Like a
baby monkey.
No
I don't
way.
know what if it was the capuchin from the Nightingale Museum or
Spider
what. I don't
monkey
know.
or something?
Spider monkey, maybe. I don't remember. Yeah, maybe it was a spider monkey.
Mhm.
So and I didn't know what to do. I don't know. I mean, is it
It's not a dog.
It's not a seeing eye dog at the time, a comfort monkey. I don't know.
Was it wearing a diaper?
He was wearing a diaper.
I
yes.
knew it.
Yeah, he was wearing a diaper. And they came to the bar, and we served him, and they sat their monkey down. And that sounds kind of weird, but the actual monkey sat at the bar.
I need to write that down.
I think had just a glass of water and some calamari appetizer.
Really?
Yeah.
Did the monkey partake in any of the eating?
Yeah, calamari.
No
Yeah, we had a little sauteed calamari, so they ordered it up for the monkey. I think he liked it.
Tuck a little napkin and
Yeah, a little bib on him and everything.
That's
Burp him
funny.
afterward.
Did you ever see them ever again?
Yeah, they came in.
They came in often?
Yeah, they came in. Not with the monkey. That was only one time with the monkey. I think I said, you know what? It's kind of fun, but I don't know if you're supposed to have a monkey.
Yeah.
At a
No
restaurant.
monkey business.
Yeah,
No monkey
exactly.
business.
But that was kind of a funny one.
Yeah.
So,
What's I guess now going forward, now that you're part of you're still doing property management, correct?
well, we're doing the work for the property management company. So they'll have a apartment or a home, and we do other things too. But that's primarily what we do, the make ready work for new tenant move-ins.
Have you ever came across a building or a property that was just like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, I remember one in particular. We called it the cat closet house.
Uh-oh.
It was an apartment. So these people, it was an eviction.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine 18 months of no rent, no cleaning, anything, 2 packs of cigarettes a day in the house. I mean, it was just destroyed.
Yeah.
And when they finally got out of there, we had to go in with the ventilators and masks. So bad. I mean, on the walls, you could take a putty knife and scrape the nicotine and tar off of it.
Man.
And I mean, just trashed. And then we call it the cat closet house because we open up the hallway closet, and they got a scratch pad stapled to the door inside. And the cat, not like a litter box, but they just took like a 20-pound bag of kitty litter and dumped it on the floor. Right?
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the cat, pissing and in the closet for 18. Well, I don't know, probably longer than that.
Yeah.
So we actually had to call one of those companies that does the crime scene.
Yeah.
Thing,
Oh no.
to come in there and sanitize it before we could go back in and put it back together.
I'm sure there's got to be some sort of certification for you to be able to even go in and make sure it's clean, right?
It was like a level, I can't remember
Hazmat?
the level, 2 or 3 hazmat.
Yeah.
I think it goes up to 4 or 5. We don't deal with it that often, so I don't know the regulations on it, but it was like some level hazmat.
Above my level.
So you guys take care of it. I think tearing it down would have been the best move, but it was part of a complex that they couldn't do it. So yeah, we had to deal with that.
Yeah.
We did one house had to open up a wall for electrical or something, and found a baggie with bullets in it hidden in the wall.
9mm, just
I don't
regular.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh man.
So we just put it back and closed the wall up.
Yeah.
I see nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hear no evil, speak no evil.
Right. So I don't know what was going on with that to bury to hide. But you hide stuff in framing, right? I mean, we put stuff in there. You probably left a beer bottle or something.
For sure.
In there.
You write your name on there, note.
Or stickers.
Yeah. R.I.P. And then you put some the plastic bones or something.
Sure. Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, you should.
Someone find that.
Yeah.
maybe they did that so someone would find it, the bullets, and wonder.
That would be scary, coming across something
Who
in
knows?
drywall.
Yeah, hidden inside the wall.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kind of let it be.
Another question. Has a student ever said something so far out there that you thought, I might have to steal that?
Oh, like an idea?
An idea or like a quote, even in the restaurant?
Well, as a student, I remember one in particular. She had one of the classes I taught was an entrepreneurship class where you're supposed to think up of an idea for a business.
Jordan.
So there's a lot of times I would see some good ideas come through, and I promised we didn't sign NDAs or anything. Actually, no, I take it back. One time I did have to sign an NDA. I didn't have to, but I did.
Yeah.
Because the student, their family had already started this. And this was when the CBD things were coming around. I think it was just becoming legal to do that.
Yeah.
And their family was getting into that, had an idea to do some different things and have like a lounge,
CBD
lounge and things.
Yeah.
And so I thought that might be a pretty good idea, jump on that.
Like kind of like a coffee shop.
Yeah, where you could go and
light
get
up.
baked and have a drink. And I don't know if any of those exist now. There might be. I haven't been looking for them, but they might.
I feel like you find yourself very entrepreneurial.
Pretty much everything I worked. The only place I did where I worked for Disneyland for a while, and besides that, pretty much everything else has been on my own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was like your first? What was like the first W-2 job that you took, even as like a kid?
Well, I had several, mostly in the restaurant business. When I worked for someone else.
Yeah.
But even at the time, I had a music business when I was 16, 17, teaching, writing. I wrote background music for TV and stage for a while.
How was that?
Interesting. Yeah. And basically all that is about connections. So I'd written a bunch of songs, and I wanted to actually get into the business of background music.
Yeah.
You don't notice it. Well, you don't think about it, but there's music is all in the background of everything.
Everything.
Elevator music.
It shapes how scary movies are even.
So anything like that I was interested in doing, and I hooked up with someone who was affiliated with the Channel 4 in Arizona at the time, and they needed some music for their 40th year anniversary or whatever it was. And the guy couldn't do it. He said, "Can you do it?" And so I said, "Sure." So I wrote a bunch of pieces, background stuff, and it was again on a cassette tape. And I couldn't send it as an MP3 or whatever.
Yeah. Airdrop it to me.
Right, yeah, airdrop it. No, so I did it on my little 4-track recorder that I used. Sent it to the producers over there, and they said, "Yeah, we like it."
Really?
Yeah, so they used it for one of their promotional thing during that year when they were promoting their channel. And nothing ever came about it. I guess I could have pushed it more.
Yeah.
Use it as something on a resume to send out to more people.
What was that feeling like? What was that?
Yeah, and they sent me back a tape with all the different clips of different celebrities saying "Happy Birthday, Channel 4," or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And my music's in the background.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like it's like one of those things in life that's kind of like, I didn't think I could do it. Maybe did you ever hesitate at that time, or
no?
Maybe they wouldn't like it or something.
I don't think I had a feeling either one way or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt this is what it is, and I'm going to send it out there, and if they don't like it, then
just an opportunity.
Right. Opportunity.
Yeah. Now, being very entrepreneurial, is there one thing that is so far out there, but that you would like to pursue in like opening a business or like even a crazy idea that you'd like to follow through with?
I don't know. I think one of the things I really like to do is travel. And when we've done some traveling in different countries, the group that puts those together, this isn't very exciting, but this is one I thought of.
I find it exciting.
Okay, right. is groups, companies that put together these different kind of travel things, and they exist ubiquitous now around the world.
Yeah.
People that at least have money and want to do. But I always thought it'd be fun to be a part of planning out travel for people that don't really have the the ability, the desire to go through a planning on our own.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we got an opportunity to travel extensively before we had kids, backpacking, exploring, traveling to different countries and kind of figuring it out. So I always thought it'd be fun to put together packages for people to travel.
Yeah. Where would you like to, what area or what?
Even in the United States. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of places that I think people come here to see and they miss. So that, or I don't know if I go into Mexico. I mean, it's safe in a lot of areas, but we used to travel there all the time, but I'd be more hesitant in some places
Yeah,
now.
at least leaving
in
a
other
resort or
countries. I mean, even I wouldn't go down to L.A. In the middle of the night, some alleyway. Every place is could be dangerous.
It really is.
I'm not trying to single out, Mexico or some other country, but but being able to provide some sort of safe travel for people, that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to open up like on my own. I'd like to have like a farm with like a bunch of just crazy things to go do.
Okay.
You have like a water slide, and then you could go zip line, or just like a crazy adventure park or something, What would you say is the most adventurous thing that you've ever done? Have you ever been skydiving? Have you ever been...
I've been skydiving.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we went for my wife's, that's our anniversary. We went once.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Whose idea was it?
It was mine.
Yeah, and she said yeah?
She was down for it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we're gonna make it a tradition to go every year. So.
Oh yeah, I love that. When's your guys' anniversary?
May 15.
May 15. So it just passed.
So it just passed a few months ago. So yeah, we're still so excited. We're trying to get our kids to do it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But, how many kids do you have?
We have two boys.
Two boys?
Yeah. So.
Which one was more of a troublemaker?
Oh, my younger one.
Yeah.
Definitely like me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think the youngest always. We'll leave those. Stories
when
out.
he does something that my wife and I shake our heads at, she looks at me. It's you.
Yeah. And what do you kind of think? Like, damn, it is me.
Yeah, it is. He's a free thinker. He's on his own. If it's not his idea, this is just like me. If it's my idea and I'm into it, I'm all in.
Yeah.
But if you tell me or someone else, no.
Mm-hmm.
So I listen and take advice and everything. Don't get me wrong, but I've got to be on board for myself, and that's just the way he is.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Do you have any books in the works? Any ideas that you've been? I know because I have a few book ideas. I started writing one book, haven't completely finished it. Do you have any ideas that you dance with?
Well, the second book that I did about the kidnap for ransom, there's one character in there who was kind of a private investigator who would look into these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of like a film noir kind of a character.
Yeah.
Mysterious but smart.
Yeah.
And I always admired like detectives, investigators, figuring out stuff. I watched the forensic files, how to solve a crime. It's kind of fun. And one of the authors that reviewed my book and wrote a nice blurb about it,
mm-hmm.
He responded back to me and he said, "Hey, you should take this character and it's a good character.
Yeah.
Do some like short stories on different things."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that'd be pretty cool. I could work in my interest in solving crime, true crime, and all that stuff, and use this character as the means to do it. And I just never did. But that'd be something I would probably go back and pursue.
Yeah. So you're very creative. Have you ever dabbled in any other arts besides music and writing? Have you ever painted? And
I actually have done some painting. I was into magic for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I was totally into it. I had all this stuff, and I started learning, sleight of hand and everything. And at one point, I would go to there's a magic shop in Garden Grove, and I'd go down there, and the magicians would be there, and one of them was going to. The Magic Castle in Hollywood. It's a famous it's a magician. It's like a big mansion.
I have not.
They have shows. They have, you can go for dinner. It's called the Magic Castle. It's been there forever. Anyway, to be a member, you have to have someone who's already a member, like support you or refer you or sponsor you, whatever. So he was going to sponsor me as a junior magician, and I never went down there. It's in Hollywood. I'm 16 years old. I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Later on, I kept it up, and then I met someone else who was a member. Sponsor me again. Never did it.
No.
So I don't know. It was one of those things where it was fun for me. Music, magic. I taught in some little elementary school programs like Intro to Magic. Music and magic. So I did that for a while. So that's something. Languages. I think I mentioned before. I always was really interested in learning languages. Other arts, acting.
You've done some acting?
I've done some.
Yeah, you've done it all.
Yeah, what started out, first thing that kind of got me interested in it was when I was 19, I was on The Dating Game.
Whoa!
So, the three guys and the girl that they asked
the
the questions.
Side?
Right.
Oh, man.
So I went, it was a funny story. We went down to Hollywood or Burbank, wherever they filmed it at the time, with a bunch of friends. We hey, let's go down there and try out for this dating game show.
Yeah.
So me and like 5 or 6 of my buddies went down there just for fun, right?
Yeah.
And for the audition, they sit you in a room and then they have someone answer. I don't know who it was. They're just asking questions. They're seeing how fast you can kind of think of something funny.
Yeah.
So we all did it, and it was fun. We went down there to do it, whatever.
Mhm.
So a couple days later, the producer calls me and says,
Mhm.
"Hey, do you want to come back and film an
Oh!
episode?" And at first, I'm like, "Well, can I think about it?" And I don't think she was used to hearing that. Usually, it's like, "Oh yeah,"
Yeah.
and she says, "Yeah, but can you get back to me like pretty soon because
Like, you got a half hour.
you know I can just go to the next one."
Yeah.
You know, I said, "Okay, I'll call you. I'll call you right back." So
Yeah.
talked to a buddy of mine because I didn't have a ride. I say, "Hey, can you take me to Burbank? You know, next Monday?"
Mhm.
He's, "Oh yeah, I'll take you."
Mhm.
So I called the lady back. I said, "I'll do it."
Yeah.
So I went down there, did the thing, the makeup, and it is kind of an acting thing because they give you the questions ahead of time. You kind of have to think, and you have to get your expressions and be animated, and they try to pump you up and everything. So that's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
So I did the show, and I actually won the date.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
And but we never went on the date. I think a lot of people go on that show just to or any game show. I don't know, just to get exposure and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whether or not, I mean, they give you the paperwork and they say, okay, you guys figure it out, and then we'll pay for it or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just never did. So I don't know.
Interesting. Was that not the same show that the Night Stalker
There
was on?
actually was an episode where a guy was on it. There was 2 dating games. One was in the 70s and maybe the early 80s, and then that stopped running. And then the one I was on was like the second generation of that show. But on the first generation, there was a contestant that ended up either being a serial. It wasn't Night Stalker, but it was someone like it was someone.
Yeah,
I look it up. Dating game contestant is a murderer or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you'll find it.
I forgot. Yeah, I watched like a documentary or something about that. That is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any of the people that were on it when I was there did that.
Surreal.
But
yeah. What were your friends saying about you being chosen? Were any of them like, "Whoa, Mike"?
No, we had a blast. I think we went to one of my friend's pizza parlors or something and watched it that night.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then I had a chance. A girl I was dating at the time, her brother was on. We went down to the Price is Right, and he won the showcase showdown or whatever.
Really?
So we got to run up on stage. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I got my arms around the Barker's beauty.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
So I got a little taste of entertainment. You know? And after that, I did one little like movie. It was independent kind of film thing. I played a character in it, and I don't even know if you can find it. It was called The Stranger Girl.
Stranger Girl. We're gonna look that up.
Look up The Stranger Girl, or look me up on IMDb or IMB, whatever that is. You might find me. I don't know. Maybe not. They might have scratched me already. But at the time, that show Stranger Things was coming out. So I don't know if that I don't know if it had anything to do with it or not. But anyway, it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
So.
Have you found yourself in moments in life where you you realize that it seems like you're not afraid to put yourself out there? Like, have you ever put yourself out there and been in a position where, like, you know, you succeeded or you failed and you're just like, wow, I'm glad that I had that experience.
Sure.
Just overall.
Oh yeah, I think one thing that I think I do well now, and I enjoy it, is speaking in public, which I know is the biggest fear people have.
Like 95% of people or something in the world.
Seinfeld say people would rather give be in the coffin than give the eulogy.
Yeah.
It was Jerry Seinfeld. That was kind of funny. But that was something for me to overcome. So I think being presented with the opportunities to do that, or even being forced into do that at some point, because in the restaurant, you know, sometimes you go to some sort of event or talk about this, or you have to accept an award or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And at first it was a little bit tricky for me. But for some reason, I guess overcoming that gave me more confidence.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, I did it. You know? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. You didn't die. You didn't get hurt.
Right.
You might have got a little hot-faced.
Yeah. And whatever you're saying or talking about, everyone else, like 95% of people sitting there don't want to go up there. So, so you kind of, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. I'm kind of in that stage right now where I'm a little nervous of, so for our job, my boss kind of wants me to start leaning in more into training, you know, for our company and whatnot. And it's like, I know what our product is. I know how to tell people about it and, you know, at least give them a basic understanding. But when you're in front of people that already know what it does and are more experienced with plumbers, especially, it's like, I don't want them to think of me as like, oh, you're up here just trying to sell me something or bullshit me.
Right.
And so, but yeah, I always think back and I try to put myself in the position of like, the first time I even had to speak publicly was at my sister's wedding. And and everyone's, oh, speech. And I was just, I went up there and, I was like, I didn't know, you kind of want to freeze. And
Sure.
it's frightening, but I'm kind of excited to lean into that fear of getting over that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when I think about teaching too, a lot of times a lot of people get into this feeling is that, can I really talk about this? You know, this like inferior or this inability, that I'm not learned enough. I don't know this subject well enough to be talking about, but it's not really like that. I mean, most of the people, if you're talking to someone in the industry, my brother works for Raytheon as well as the business, and so they do computer, defense contracts and things, and he works with pilots of the fighter jets and things, and
so cool.
So he has to go, to the bases and talk to them about this new radio system how to work it, or answer questions, or are there any bugs, and then try to figure that out.
Yeah.
And so you're talking to some fighter pilot who's, that can be intimidating, who knows all this stuff and everything, and you're trying to tell them what to do. And I know that, I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's that interaction. Maybe you can learn something from them, they can learn something from you.
Yeah.
Someone in the group might have a great idea or know more about something. Hey, tell me about that. And then everybody else there. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So benefits.
I think it's
to understand that. I think is helpful.
I think it's the fear of being asked a question and not knowing how to answer it. You have to be so intimately familiar with whatever you're teaching and speaking on, to where like you want to make sure that every aspect is covered. So, but that is just another growth.
Sure.
If you don't know how to answer something, I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I'm going to find out.
So would you say that have you ever found yourself with the feeling of having imposter syndrome, being a professor or restaurant owner?
That's kind of what I'm referring to. Being, I'm up here trying to tell you all this stuff, but I feel, especially from an instructor's point of view in a business class, at least I can refer to my business experience. Yeah. I think what I've seen, which is a little frustrating to me, and this is more, the higher up you go in education, the more I see this. At the junior college, not as much. It's still there, but not as much. A lot of the especially the adjunct professors that are there that have businesses, and teach. Yeah. That's kind of a good insight to provide the students with. Yeah. At the university level, I was with other instructors that have been there 25, 30 years in academia. Yeah. And a lot of them, I don't even know if any of them had a job or a business before. Well, a job perhaps, but never their own business. Yeah. So, that was one thing that I always try to emphasize. And at first I kind of fell into that, I'm in academia now. I have to do this academia kind of instruction. But really, the real life thing, and you can read about it in a book, and you can,
regurgitate and
just regurgitate it on exam, where you can talk about something that actually happens. I don't think that's new. I think a lot of people realize that. Yeah. But it took me a while to figure out that most everyone else at this college doesn't really. Yeah. I mean, they haven't experienced it.
Yeah, very tunnel vision, maybe. Yeah. So, interesting. Yeah. I had a question. I completely spaced on it. When do you feel most like yourself? Playing music, creative, fixing a problem?
I don't know. Maybe this is sad. I feel most like myself when I'm alone.
It's not a bad thing.
Maybe it's music. Maybe it's fixing something. Or maybe it's... I remember there's a quote by Satchel Paige, an old baseball player.
Pitcher?
Yeah, Satchel Paige. Yeah. And he said, sometimes I sits and thinks, and sometimes I just sit. So sometimes I just sit. Yeah. But I think it is being alone and doing my own creative things by myself. I think it's an indication of how, or a result of maybe all the other things that I've been involved in. You look at the restaurant, like I mentioned before, you got 100 different personalities having dinner. You got 20 different employees with different personalities. Yeah. Everyone's talking, you're dealing with student, administrator, and I'm dealing with homeowner or the tenant or supplier or vendor or the business that hired me to do the job. So all these people are, so I mean, and I can do that, and it's not like I'm being disingenuous when I'm talking to this person or that person, but for leadership and motivation, you have to identify who you're talking to.
Yeah, definitely.
So this kind of emotional pull of different ways, I do it, and that's just part of what I have to do. Yeah. But feeling myself, I think when I'm away from that, that's when I'm more like myself. So. Yeah.
Where do you like to mostly do, like, sit by yourself and think? Or do you ever, you could just pick a spot, or do you like?
No, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. I mean, in our backyard is nice. In the garage and my music set up.
What's your go-to, what's an album or a band that if you need to pick your spirits up, what are you listening to?
It's a great question. I'm so diverse in the type of music I like. I mean, I like Latin jazz.
Really?
a lot. When I sit at the piano for some reason, and this has changed over the years, but I'd always go to Billy Joel tunes.
Oh yeah.
Up until his album, I think it was The Innocent Man, was good, and then after that, I kind of I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like most
What it is.
most bands or musicians, at least,
Yeah.
you have something that's really good and very you can profit off of it. You know,
Yeah.
it's very commercial. But then some of them branch off, and it's like, oh, you went a little too far some way.
Yeah, I think everyone who enjoys a band, an older band that they really like, there's a point where you can say, okay, at this point, it's kind of,
Yeah.
But Zeppelin,
Oh yeah.
Van Halen, I don't know, it depends on a mood, but I usually pull back to old classic rock. So.
What would be one person that, dead or alive, that you'd love to see in concert, and you could choose an opener and then the main?
Well, I'd like to see Eddie Van Halen. When I first started playing guitar, that was one of the records. Van Halen 1 came out, and I would play that on my turntable and I'd try to listen and figure it all out. So, and even Eddie and Van Halen over the years, through the David Lee Roth years, Sammy Hagar years, I kind of still listen, but after that, not really. But I was never able to see them in concert, which I'd like to go. I'd like to be able to see him play.
Is there anything that you want to maybe give advice to people that maybe in between trying to start a business, students, just anything, any sort of kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to even, leave the audience with an advice?
Well, for me, I think a lot of times people have told me that you can't do something. Why do you want to do that? Maybe not so many words, but the first response is, like I mentioned with the restaurant. Why do you want to open a restaurant? Why do you want?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I kind of said, well, I want to do it. I want to try it.
Yeah.
And I think it's always worth trying.
Yeah.
And if you can identify, if you try something and you fail, then you haven't, and you get up again, then you didn't fail, right?
Yeah.
So, and I know this is not new. I'm not the first person to kind of say something like this, but I think it's true. I mean, if you have an idea, go for it.
Yeah.
I think, and be smart about it. Mike Rowe, you know who Mike Rowe is?
Very much so. I would love to.
So Mike Rowe, he has a little bit where he talks about passion, follow your passion, which he says don't, right?
Yeah.
And unless your passion equals your ability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a passion for running and you're the fastest person on the track.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you have a passion for, singing and you've got the best voice in the choir or something. Okay. But a lot of people have a passion that doesn't equal your ability.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean you can't be successful. There's all kinds of different ways to be successful in things that you're good at.
Yeah.
So focus on those things that you're good at. A lot of people will say, I'm not so good at this. I'm going to work harder at it. Okay, that's fine, but why not concentrate on things you're really good at?
Yeah.
And if you want to work on something that you want to improve, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But to sacrifice being better at the things you're good at so you can be the best.
Yeah.
Why not focus that energy there?
For sure.
So find the things you're best at, concentrate on that. And if something fits entrepreneurially, in business, ideas, family, relationships, whatever that might be, then focus on that.
Yeah. I love that. Now you're making me want to go get up and go do work. It seems like it's a passion and then project.
And you focus, you make a plan, and you don't have to drop everything. You can do it in the margins.
Yeah.
And something clicks.
Yeah.
I had a student who, this is a good story to me to end with. I had a student that was in my class. She was there every day, sitting in the front, staring the whole time, which was unusual. I had a handful of students that actually
pay attention.
Did that.
Yeah.
And she did, and her idea was a cleaning service. And okay, there's lots of cleaning service. I could have said, oh, there's thousands of cleaning services.
Don't do
Why
that.
bother?
Yeah.
Right? But I didn't, and she wrote her business plan, and she had an idea, and we were doing work, and after every job we finished, we have to do a deep clean. And who did I call on the first deep clean we did? Lou. I called Luce.
Really?
She said, I'll be there. She had a helper. Okay. I said, we can pay you this. I'll do it. Okay, but did it, came back. Hey, that's nice. Here's your money. Boom. Next one.
Yeah.
So now I don't know how many she's done for us. 4 years.
Still doing
I don't know, but
that's awesome.
So yeah, she had an idea. She wanted to do it. She was determined. I gave her a chance, and
I love that, man.
That worked out.
Yeah, Mike. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
Any shout outs you want to give out to your company, your books?
So Mojo Property Care, make readies, remodels. Check out The Stones in the Field. Check out Wade in the Water. If you go onto Amazon, search Michael Oates, Wade in the Water. There's a bunch of books called that.
I'm not
at the top, but you got to scroll down.
I'm going to be buying your books. So, all right, I'll get back to you on that. Thank you again,
Thanks
Mike.
again. All right, take care.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, guys.